Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Indeed, indubitably.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, gal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gal. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. No.
And
No.
Amanda talked about her mosquito bite because she didn't use ass.
I should have grabbed my ass. I got a mosquito bite.
Of F.
I was out of ass. I got a mosquito bite on my fucking chin. Like on the jawline, and there's like not enough flesh there for it to like properly swell. So it's like this weird, tight bump that just itches all the time.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, put some ammonia on that.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
Also have
put
pepperoni
some-
pea on it.
Oh, my God. Put some toothpaste on it.
Oh, okay. Windex. Put some Windex on it.
Put some Windex on it. Oh, I cannot wait for the new My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Oh, my God. So good.
It's gonna be great. Anyway, who are we?
Oh, fuck it. I'm Kenyan.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Itchy, and I'm Amanda.
And we have a very special fan pick for you this week, brought to you by Martin Liu, who wants to dedicate this episode to their husband Tyler and friends Nea and Sarah.
Oh.
They have selected the topic of naughty nurses.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
my nurse is so natty.
So naughty.
I have like the nattiest nurse.
Yeah, because all or most of these people are, or at least were, nurses.
Nurses.
God bless you.
This reminds me of the episode that like our friend who is a flight attendant got for flight attendant crimes, and they they like pooled with all of their friends who
Their
are
crew.
also flight attendants. Yeah,
Yeah.
their literal crew, their flight crew. I love these. I have a great
Nurses-
case today. I'm ready.
Nursing has got up there with teaching has got to
Oh.
be the hardest job of all time.
I could not.
Like, I
absolutely could not.
Understand why you put yourselves through it, but I'm
No.
The
so
Hippocratic
thankful.
Oath.
Couldn't
I
take
just don't get it. I
Couldn't
don't
take
like
it.
it. I don't get it.
I was
don't
in
want it.
classes with a lot of nursing students at MCTC because there are a lot of like psych undergrad or like psych requirements, and their schedules were nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing like practical lab like early in the fucking morning, and then taking a full course load, and then toward the end of their schooling, they're also in like internships. It's basically getting your fucking medical degree. Like it's nuts.
You're doing
The same work.
all the work that doctors used to do
Yeah.
for less pay, and you're also interacting. You're like also need all the skills of like a retail worker to like
Yeah.
interact with the public and
And they're
also
all miserable.
interact with technology.
Yeah.
And
You're meeting all of the people that you meet on their fucking worst day 99% of the time.
everything
Yeah, no one
is
wants
high
to be
stakes.
there.
But
I've been sitting in the
also
waiting room
feces.
for hours.
God bless nurses. Like seriously,
Seriously.
as someone who has been hospitalized many times, thank you diabetes. It makes all the difference when you just have like a great nurse.
Absolutely.
And
And
to all the patients out there, be fucking patient and be kind to your nurses. They're doing
kind.
the goddamn best they can, except for the ones in these stories, probably.
well, yeah, the ones in these stories are natty.
Nah.
They're the outliers.
You're a little natty.
But Martin would like to say to Tyler and Nea and Sarah, quote, with everything they've endured being overworked and underpaid before and during COVID, I'm sure we could all use a few laughs.
Oh, gal. Well, we will have some.
Hopefully. But first.
I got visual aids with mine.
Oh, good.
Oh, no.
Well, one. that is atrocious. I can't wait.
I almost dug out the stethoscope that somebody gave me at a meet and greet a few years ago.
God, that's like, okay, this is another reason why you need to watch Parks and Rec, because Andy finds a stethoscope in a sandbox and April is like, do not put that near your face. And they did. And that's what, it's you.
I put it on immediately. It's in my Halloween box.
Of course it is.
Nice. We recently had to like clear out our storage closet in our house, and we got rid of so much stuff to make room for baby stuff. And we needed to keep and retain not one, but 2 large plastic bins of costumes.
Oh, yeah. If you had gotten rid of those, I'd be pissed.
Both for my job and for Zach's job, because they always have Spirit Week, and it's like, Wacky Wednesday, or he always has to wear costumes as a middle school principal. So we have 2 bins.
It's part of the deal.
It is.
Yup.
He loves it. He leans in.
Territory. Of course he does.
Okay, let's lube up. I'm drinking mango grapefruit seltzer water, but let me live vicariously through you guys.
Oh, I'm drinking water.
Our fan picker requested margs.
Oh,
Midnight margaritas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I know, I'm sorry. But
love
we
a good
will go
margarita.
back to a haunted inn in the Berkshires that no one else is staying in, beg my sister to please come stay with us because we're scared, and then make margaritas at midnight.
Yep. And then
Which is
force
literally
her
what we
children
did.
to eat chocolate cake for breakfast with twine around their necks, and they
didn't even want to.
Yeah, they were not into it. We were like, eat this chocolate cake for
Love
breakfast.
it. Wear your cool on. And they were like, I'm scared. And the first night that they got there, because Kenyon and I, this was for our friend Josh Hallmark's birthday, 40th birthday.
I couldn't go.
Lucy couldn't go because she was in a wedding. We thought we were going to have like 5 people. So Kenyon got this really cute Airbnb, like this old Victorian mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be an actual like bed and breakfast. Now it's just an Airbnb. So we were alone in there.
A fucking
we got
creepy
there.
one.
We walked in. We did 1 lap through the house and we were like, absolutely fucking not. I don't know what we're going to do. This is the scariest place we've ever been. I immediately called my sister and was like, pack the kids. Get David.
Drive 4 hours.
Drive 4 hours to the Berkshires.
Literally
from Boston.
4 hours. She
Literally
drove?
4 hours.
Oh my God, you're
It's like, you have to
horrible.
come stay with us for the weekend. We can't sleep here. And then she goes, is it going to be too scary for my kids to sleep there? And we were like, no, it's fine.
They'll be fine.
They got there and Molly immediately, when they tried to put them in bed, was like, I can't sleep here. This is so scary. Like, this place is fucked up. And we were like, we were drunk at a party at that point. So we were like, I don't know. You're here now. Figure it out.
I made Amanda share a bedroom with me the first
did.
night.
Yep. Yeah. They came the next day.
There were like 5 or 6 bedrooms in this place, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hell no.
I slept
That's-
on like a slouchy trundle because I refused to share a bed with Kenyon because she is
A
cuddler.
violent sleeper.
And I can't cuddle. I cannot sleep if I cuddle. Not that I slept anyway.
Things would
There
have
was
gone
like-
down very differently if I had been there. We
There
would
was
have had
like
a
that-
seance. We would have found some ghosts.
Well, we
Oh.
tried the next night.
Yeah.
No one was answering our calls to action. And there was also like outside of that window, like 1 tree that in the wind was just like
Yes.
scratching.
And the
all
house
night.
next door was like beautiful but decrepit and had
It
been like
was
abandoned for decades.
Amazing.
It was like condemned. Like it had an
Yeah.
orange sticker on the front of
Yeah.
it.
How did we get onto this subject?
I don't know. Midnight
Margaritas. Woo!
All right.
Anyway, so I made a margarita. I just used reposado. You know, I love to put a little Grand Marnier in there. I have fresh lime juice. I also put some fresh lemon juice in here, a little bit of sour mix.
Nice.
And then I also like to do a splash of like sparkling, either plain or lemon lime water.
Mhm.
I had plain this time.
I need to buy that non-alcoholic
sipping.
tequila because
Mhm. That was good.
a non-alcoholic margarita sounds really good right now.
They make NA tequila?
Yeah, remember that's what
We
I had
had it
in
in-
Austin.
I didn't know that there was an NA tequila in there. I thought they just made you an NA margarita.
No, there was NA tequila in there.
Cool.
I know. I need to look it up.
Do it. Well, you got time now because my segment's over. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Lucy, what is our background in psych for natty nurses?
So
Well,
natty.
As you may recall, we did Angels of Death for
We
episode
did.
13. Didn't we do a part 2 also?
With Dr. and Andy.
Yes.
That was not in the calendar.
Yeah.
That was our only 2-parter episode. And it was
worth
with Dr. Nandy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
We might
God
want to throw
bless
that in
him.
the calendar.
Should I
but
invite him to my wedding?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard yes.
He's for sure he's going to say yes.
So that 2-parter was episode 13 and 13.5, I guess. That was also 5 years ago. I have no idea what I talked about. So if by chance you're coming directly from episode 13 to this episode,
That's chaotic.
That's fucking
there's
weird.
probably going to be some overlap, and I don't care.
No, fuck it.
It's still really interesting.
Everything is dust.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't.
Nothing fucking matters.
No.
We're just floating on a rock that's careening through an ever-expanding universe, and we don't understand any of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
What are relationships anyway?
Ugh. I'm getting married in the morning.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, relationships are fine, but they're just chemical fuck-ups in your brain.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Forcing
Everything
you to,
is.
like, work in a community so that we don't all die. That's
It's-
all they are.
It's barbaric. It's really, it's outdated. I don't like it.
I'm so happy, though. I love
We're
my
doing great. Okay.
I'm going to keep going.
partner.
So serial killers who are nurses are especially scary because their body counts can rack up astronomically
Oh,
before
yeah.
they're caught and if they're caught.
Uh-huh.
Many have dozens of victims with several in the suspected hundreds of victims.
Jeez.
And there are undoubtedly many victims that we will never fucking know about.
Mhm.
A 2006 study found that nurses account for 86% of all murders by healthcare workers.
Wow.
Well,
I mean,
they
it
have
makes
the
sense.
most like patient interaction. They're actually administering
medications.
drugs, yeah.
They're also like alone with patients the most.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. But 86%, that's like almost all.
Yeah.
That's a very
That's
high
a roll
number.
close to 100%. That's
Mhm.
uncomfortably close to 100%.
it's a high percentage.
I love it.
So nurses or other types of caregivers who intentionally harm or kill their patients are often referred to as angels of mercy or angels of death.
Mm.
They will frequently use their skills and knowledge of the medical field to do this, such as overdosing a patient with insulin, for
Mhm.
example.
That's what I threaten Bill with all the time.
As you
It
should.
would be so easy.
No one would know.
No one would know.
Well, now they can check for that shit, but
Well,
100 years ago, no one would know.
Well, they would only know to check for it if they were deliberately checking for just that, which they
Or
probably
if-
would at this point because she just announced it on air.
You know, I'm not going to kill him the way I say I'm going to kill him on
Right.
the podcast.
It's a
or
red
am
herring.
I?
It's a red herring. You're right.
Double red herring.
So there's a very obvious power dynamic with these kinds of cases, and sometimes the behavior will escalate beyond just the sick people in their care, and they will begin to target healthy people outside of a medical setting. Because as we know, these behaviors escalate.
They get a taste of that sweet, sweet power.
Yep.
Or even if they're not a serial killer nurse, they're still just a person and people commit murder.
Yep. So we know that nurses do sometimes kill their patients, but what are their motivations? Generally, the motivations can fall into 3 categories. So we have a mercy killer. So these killers believe the victims are suffering or that they're beyond help, though this belief may be / is delusional.
You're a drain on our resources. Bye-bye.
Right.
Yeah.
They might just be killing like old people who are unwell but could still have a lot of years left.
It's
Can
still
you imagine?
murder and against
Yeah.
your oath as a caregiver.
I want to know
You're
how
not God.
I want to know how close it got with Helen and any of her nurses. Because I guarantee you the thought crossed at least somebody's mind.
I bet
Oh,
they
yeah.
had a betting pool about when she would go.
oh, like
On-
a baby pool.
Like
I
on
bet.
whose shift.
I mean, I would. Wouldn't
oh, are you kidding me? I fucking would.
Yeah.
I place bets on people's mortality constantly.
all the time.
The family basically had one. And guess what? We all lost.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Society
Joke's on
lost.
you.
Society lost.
lost. Okay, our second category is sadistic. So these killers use their position as a way of exerting power and control over helpless victims. And then lastly, we have the malignant hero. So a pattern wherein this is a pattern wherein the subject endangers the victim's life in some way, then proceeds to save them.
That one is really freaky.
Yeah. That's like some Munchausen shit.
It's called sometimes called hero syndrome. So some will feign attempting resuscitation, all the while knowing their victim is already dead and beyond help, but they just want to be seen as selflessly making an effort and being really dramatic about it.
That's fucking creepy. And also, my lady, like, doesn't fall into any of these categories.
Mine doesn't either, but that's okay.
Some of them don't. Another motivation could be necrophilia, as in the case with Jane Toppin. So she would administer
the muffin note to you.
She would administer a drug mixture to her patients, to the patients that she chose as her victims, and then once they were like dying, she would lie in bed with them and like hold them close to her body and like fondle them as they died.
Oh,
great!
God, that's my fucking nightmare because I hate cuddling. If I go out cuddling, something went really, really wrong.
Yeah. Someone administered a drug mixture to you.
Yep.
I'm like a cat. I'm gonna, if I know I'm dying, I'm just gonna like crawl behind the washing machine and
crawl under like
go
the
by
piano
myself
or something.
under the
crawl
porch.
behind the washing machine.
Yeah, that's where Banjo
My
died.
hamster did that. Oh God.
Did you guys see that thing where I think I said it to you, where it's like, I've never heard of a hamster death that wasn't traumatic.
Oh yeah, it's
like there's
always
never
trauma.
just a normal hamster
death.
death.
They eat
No,
each
he
other.
got out. He got out, and then we thought the cat had killed
And
him.
there
but
was
the
a
cat
hawk.
didn't kill him. Oh, it was so bad.
There's always.
It's always a trauma.
I actually think one of my hamsters died naturally in its cage, and I fully blamed my sister.
One of my hamsters also died naturally in its cage, and that was really sad. I like went to feed it, and it was just like plastered up against the glass. Just
Jesus, that's traumatic also.
just fucking hard and cold. I was like,
How long had it been since you fed it?
Oh, I fed it every day.
Okay.
It was, I mean,
For its
this
monthly
was like,
feeding.
this
You
wasn't
have
in my
ADHD.
youth. I know. But I do remember to feed my animals.
Okay.
As an adult.
Speaking of feeding or not feeding your animals, as
God.
Amanda mentioned, these motivations, or some of the motivations, can be linked to Munchausen syndrome or Munchausen by proxy, which we have also covered on an early full episode, which was episode 6.
And
So
we
if you're
kind of
interested, going into
picked
that.
Dr. Nandy's brain about it because he had done a whole episode on his show
Yes.
where he like interviewed
That's
someone.
how we found him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Ugh, this is giving me so many Nandy throwbacks, and I love
know.
it.
We gotta
it's
reach
like a
out.
warm hug.
I know. I miss him.
Mm-hmm.
I miss him in my life.
Paging Dr. Nandy.
Can we actually page Dr. Nandy, though?
Great,
Because
page
he's a beautiful human being.
Yep.
Yep.
He'll answer.
Okay, so from Wikipedia, quote, in some cases, the killer claims the motive is euthanasia when it is not, so like the mercy killing. The difference being that a serial killer lacks a sense of compassion towards the patient, which is expected in situations of euthanasia. Most murders committed by nurses are performed by lethal injection. The typical medical professional who murders kills 2 patients every month on average.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying the body counts are
They're high.
so
High.
fucking high.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scary high.
This next statistic kind of plays into the whole gendered roles of nursing. A 2011 study of characterizing 70 female serial killers found that 30% of them were nurses.
Okay.
So
very few serial killers are female, but the ones that are, there's a higher likelihood that they are
They
nurses.
will be nurses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. There's like so much less. And I mean, again, this is also like very stereotypical and very gendered. But we do know from statistics that like a lot of times binary women will not engage in like super physical violent crime.
Yeah, they'll be poisoners.
We're poisoner. We're like the subtle. Because we
clean
can be
about it.
we're cleaner about it, but mostly because it's like crimes of opportunity, we can be overpowered more often if like if your victim is like a large man. And like these are positions where there are a lot of women doing this work, and their victims are already vulnerable, and they have access to all these tools to make them even more vulnerable. And like, you're kind of an easy target when you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
We'll get to
people
all of
are
that.
just coming in at any time of day or night and giving you shit, and you just
have
take it.
I never ask
Unlimited-
questions.
You have unlimited access to
Poison.
poison and also feeble,
Yeah.
unhealthy potential victims.
Right. It's kind of a gold mine.
Kind of.
Maybe I do need to go into nursing.
So, a former German nurse named Niels Hogel was initially convicted in 2006 of attempted voluntary manslaughter after being caught intentionally manipulating a patient's syringe pump to improperly administer a drug called Ajmaline.
Don't like that. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
It's an anti-arrhythm. It fucks with your heart. I couldn't tell if it slows your heart way down or speeds it way up, but it fucks up your heart.
Okay.
Since then, investigators suspect his total number of victims is around 300
That's
over a
too
15-year
many
period,
people.
making him the most prolific serial killer in the history of peacetime Germany.
Holy fucking shit. That's the other thing, too, is like depending on the type of nursing,
I
the
think
type
I
of
covered
patients
that guy.
you do.
I think you did too, but
I
he
think
was
I
like
covered
the
him
most.
on our crossover episode with Generation Y.
I'm pretty sure we covered this guy, but I didn't
Yeah.
remember which episode.
It's ringing a bell.
Okay. So this is from the BBC.
Ugh.
Prosecutors say Hogel attacked patients in order to impress colleagues by subsequently trying to revive them. He even earned the nickname Resuscitation Rambo.
Oh my God. Yeah, if you have one person and like consistently on their shift, they're saving lives
Trying
or
to be
people are
Superman.
dying,
Right.
either or.
We'll get to it. It's called clusters,
sus.
but we'll get to it.
Ooh.
I know cluster is maybe the grossest word in the English language.
It's not
Unless
great.
you're talking about like a chocolate nut cluster.
Right, or like a grape
Which sounds
cluster
really good.
for making wine. That does sound
I'm going to
really
text
good.
my husband.
I was just going to say, I might text Bill and ask him to bring home chocolate.
It reminds me of like, you know, like the
Texting him right now.
trypophilia. Is that what it's called? Or tryptophobia?
Oh, with the holes.
It's all the little holes.
What? No.
The word cluster reminds me of like frogs laying eggs on their backs or whatever the fuck. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. I'm just
Yep.
texting my fiance to get
We're just
chocolate.
texting about bringing home chocolatey nut clusters.
Babe,
Got
if
it.
you drive by chocolate and grab some, I would not be mad about that.
Okay, well, you do that.
I
I'm gonna
literally said if
continue
you
on.
were to bring home some kind of chocolate nut cluster candy, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Should I text my husband?
How?
Text your husband right now.
Are you going to stop at the store?
Why are we so predictable? Basically, every time I record, Bill is now like Pavlov conditioned to be like, "What fucking
Like,
food
what
are
food
you
is she
gonna
gonna come
want
up with? It's gonna be baked potatoes,
Yeah,
tacos, pizza,
Tacos,
chocolatey nut cluster. It's gonna be very specific.
always.
Taco Bell.
Listen, he's making his choices. He proposed to me. All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I get
true.
my nut clusters.
All
okay?
right. Okay.
Get off my nut and get me a nut cluster.
I'm married to the best guy. He said,
he on
yes,
it?
I am. What would you like?
Oh,
Bill hasn't
Chocolate.
responded yet, so
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's about to get ugly over
it's a
here.
competition now.
Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Catherine Ramsland, a professor of forensic psychology, says there are differences in why a doctor might kill in comparison to a nurse, which I thought this was really, really interesting.
Okay.
Doctors often kill, quote, from the desire to feel a godlike sense of power over patients or from experimental curiosity.
Ooh, hate that.
Nurses, on the other hand, often feel put upon and undervalued. Their killing sprees appear to have other motives, such as gaining attention, finding a small realm of power in an otherwise powerless world, I don't know how to say this, assuaging
Yep.
depression, paying back paying back an unfair system and acting out to relieve frustration or workload.
I have done all of those things, so I get it.
So for doctors,
In your
it's
killing
like,
sprees.
In just my life.
So for doctors, it's like this psychotic thing. It's like it's all about them, and they want to feel power and control and godlike. And for the nurses who kill, it's more like, I want external validation.
It's
Or
more.
I've
It
had
seems more
enough.
complicated.
Yeah,
the
I think of
nurses.
like when I think of nurses who kill, I don't think of like Dr. Death,
Right.
like that podcast. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so scary.
But like that, when I think of like doctors who kill, I
Right.
immediately think of Dr. Death. This like cocky,
Yeah.
fucking power hungry asshole,
Narcissist.
absolute deadly
Psychopathic.
narcissist. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Because
kinda
that's
shit.
also they say like surgeons are more likely to be psychopaths.
Right.
Mhm.
But nurses, they have to be at least outwardly compassionate.
Mhm.
But, surgeons and doctors on a
They don't
higher
even
level don't
have to fake it.
Yeah.
No, like your bedside manner for the 10 minutes you're talking to the patient before and after you cut them open is not the most important part of your job.
No. Nope. So Professor Ramsland outlined a 22-point checklist of red flags that have been associated with healthcare serial killers.
Oh my God, are you going to read it?
Not all 22 of them, but they include predicting.
Send me all 22.
Okay. These include predicting when a patient will die,
Oh, okay.
moving from one hospital to another, preferring night shifts, trying to prevent others from checking their patients.
Oh, like being like too possessive almost of patients.
Two hands on.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Or from somebody else seeing like, why is she being given insulin?
Mhm.
You know?
That's
Right.
not supposed to be in her chart or whatever. Yeah.
right.
And also a red flag is them being associated with incidents at other hospitals. Because I think a lot of times when these clusters arouse.
You get fired, but you like don't get reported
Yeah,
to the
you don't
medical
get
board.
like flagged. You just get shuffled on.
Exactly.
Great.
And a lot of them can just be like rumors. Maybe they're not like seriously investigated. It's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, that was a bad month. Crazy.
Or they like negotiate so that you leave on good terms. You like
Yeah.
still leave with a recommendation.
There was a doctor in New Jersey, I feel like, that my mom told me about that did that and had worked at like 10 different hospitals and was responsible for the deaths of like 70 patients or something insane. And it took like 30 years for them to fucking figure it out
Yeah.
while he just enjoyed his entire career. And then basically by the time the guy went to jail, it was like when he would have almost been retiring anyway.
Jeez.
Like he'd done it most of his career.
Oh my God.
Cuckoo bananas.
Like I'm saying, some of these people do not get caught.
This is why I'm really, really sad that my primary care physician is retiring.
But also, like, think
I
about it.
love
You
her.
don't, I mean, I know now that's more common to have like a nurse practitioner instead of a GP. So you do choose them. But like 99% of the nurses that you're encountering as a patient, you're
Right.
not choosing them. You
No.
choose your doctor, you look up their reviews, blah, blah, blah. The
Yep.
nurses are almost like anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody just brings you back and sticks a needle in your arm and
Yeah, it's you're connected with who's on the shift. Like
Right.
that's it. It's like you can't pick your server at a
you,
restaurant.
you hardly
can't
ever
pick
even know
your-
their names.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nurse practitioner for my primary care doctor is named Katie, and she's fucking rad. And I can tell that she, like, when we first met, she's very like professional and nurse-like. And then I think I said something or she said something, and it was
How do
really,
you feel
really
about
dark.
murder, Katie?
Something
Yeah.
really
How many
dark.
teeth
And then
do you
it
have
just,
on your necklace?
all the walls just broke down from there. And
Nice.
just fucked around.
Now we're
the
best
rest of
friends.
the- She's really great. Okay, other red flags include a history of depression or other psychological troubles, a high incidence of death on the killer's shifts, making colleagues feel uneasy around them,
Oh, yeah.
and having drugs in their lockers or homes.
Okay.
Little
I have
Nurse
a lot
Jackie.
of those. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Nurse Jackie.
Yeah. Was she a killer or was she just a
No.
drug
She-
nurse?
Drug user.
Okay. Although a few of these would not be alarming in isolation, Professor Wilson, whose name I apparently cut completely out of this quote, said a cluster of 5 or more would be cause for concern. Nurse shortages in the UK and the US have also been cited as a reason for proper checks and references being overlooked when nurses are moving around to different hospitals.
And also think about with the COVID stuff, there were so many, there was like such demand for nurses that people, were getting like offers to be travel nurses and like emergency fill in at different hospitals like around the country.
Kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Killer nurses during COVID. My God.
Yeah.
Luck. This is your moment.
Really? So do these killer nurses enter the field because of their urges, or do these behaviors develop once they begin working?
Why not both?
It's more likely the latter, but either one is possible.
If you get shit on literally and figuratively enough in your job, you're bound to go a little
And you get
loopy.
desensitized to death, possibly, depending on the type of nursing you're doing.
And that one of the big motivations that they suspect is that they're taking out their occupational stress on these victims.
Right. It makes a lot of sense.
This is scary. Okay.
I love it.
I love that I'm going to be giving birth in a few months.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
So they
I'll
have
videotape the whole thing.
They have Patreon content. They have likely obtained a sense of power and enjoyment from harming people in the past and see opportunities to escalate this behavior in a hospital when they become aware of the access and opportunities that this setting affords. These people have control over life and death. They feel a sense of ownership, possession, and control over their patients. They feel entitled to harm and kill them.
Be nice to your nurses, y'all.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Most of the
makes
victims...
every part of your experience better to just be kind to people, let me tell you.
And at the airport, too.
You might get a free
Just
bottle
in
of
general.
gas.
Just in general.
Just treat people
Even
like they're
if you're not going to
people.
get anything out of it. Just be nice, unless they're creepy. And then you don't have to be nice to them, and we will get to it.
Yeah.
Most victims are elderly and or very sick because their death might not be as much of a shock and wouldn't necessarily trigger an investigation.
Yup.
They are also frequently poisoned by the very medications that are intended to help them. So instead of it being like a totally random medication, it would be like an overdose. Yes.
That's smart.
Fucking smart.
Yep.
Smart. I'm taking notes.
If the podcast ever goes down.
This is from
if
the
I
National
ever go
Post.
into nursing, you'll know to be concerned.
There's a lot of things that I know would trigger
Red
an alarm
flag.
for me
Yeah.
about your extremely predictable behavior.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, a 2006 study identified 54 medical serial killers in Europe and North America between 1970 and 2006. 54.
That's a lot.
In most cases,
A lot.
the murder weapon was the drug the healthcare professional could easily access. That included potassium chloride, an electrolyte that in high doses can cause the heart to stop. Also insulin, morphine, and drugs that paralyze the respiratory system. These paralyzing drugs are designed to let patients be comfortably attached to artificial breathing machines, but can be fatal if there's no device to take over the respiration. So if they're not actually connected to a fucking breathing machine.
Got it. Okay.
But those drugs are so common in hospitals that they're in every fucking closet, probably.
We'll get to the potassium chloride.
Amazing. Most of it involves IV medication because you don't even need to poke a needle into the skin of the patient.
And then they can find those little puncture marks in an autopsy.
We will get to it.
Yeah. So you want to go through the tube, baby.
Yeah.
You can even just put a few little drops of additional medication into the IV line, and it's almost just too easy.
And voila.
Follow
me for more recipes.
Yeah.
TikTok taught me.
God. IV bags are scary enough.
They're so scary.
A lot of medical murderers are also involved in fraud, be it prescription fraud, insurance fraud, doctoring, medical charts and files,
Get out.
and forgery. So also I think obviously there's somebody in in the hospital that is responsible for dispensing the medication.
Right. So they have to like use somebody else's login or
Right.
like
And, like,
change.
Signatures.
Nurse practitioners a lot of the time can prescribe, but typically just your regular like shift nurse cannot prescribe medication.
Mhm.
So probably some of that forgery is like forging prescription to
Right.
gain access
Yep. That's
to these deadly meds.
Yep. There is some concern that legalizing compassionate euthanasia could actually enable serial killers, possibly fueling mistrust between palliative care teams and the general public. So that's
maybe.
another.
I feel like they wouldn't be into it if it was
legal
and consensual, you
It's
know?
not the same rush. It's not
Right.
as sexy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just a possible concern.
Mhm.
It seems like there are fewer medical murderers in the U.S. now than there used to be, possibly in part because of the advent of computerized systems that
Mhm.
can highlight unusual drug usage by staff in the facility.
Yeah, and the inventory is so much more fine-tuned now that they're using these like online, or not online, but like computerized databases and shit.
It's
I
also
wonder
And you need like a key card to get into fucking like
Right.
any locked door, and that marks like whose card you use, what time. There's
Right.
cameras everywhere.
It's also possible that because everything is so computerized, it's harder for them to jump around to different hospitals without
A
People
record following
noticing.
them. Yeah.
I bet it's still very possible, but harder.
Right.
Definitely harder. Just like committing murder
Of course,
and
it's still
of any
possible.
kind.
Of course,
Right.
And getting away with it is
but
harder.
I think the internet helps
Yeah.
law enforcement. It helps the hospitals communicate with each other. It obviously is helping the technology with the dispensing of the medicines.
Right.
So, but they're still out there, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
almost
No one's safe.
undetectable. No one's safe.
No one. Trust no one.
So that's my
Great.
segment.
Wow. Scary
Lucy's
stuff.
so pleased with her.
Yeah.
I love it when I give you guys a new fear.
Listen, I don't have a
My
new fear. I have a
lifeblood.
new aspiration. I am an aspiring
I'm just thinking about how
naughty
many
nurse.
nurses I encountered at just my like regular appointment yesterday.
Yeah.
I literally
They all wanna
directly
kill
interacted
you.
with like 5 different nurses, none of whom I was given a name for.
Check your meds.
Oh my
Or
god.
don't
Don't just go with it.
So I can't recall if this case was a fan pick or if I found it from an episode of Forensic Files.
Great. Either way, fabulous.
It's 50-50.
Fofty-fofty.
It's 50-50. There definitely is a great Forensic Files episode about this.
Yes.
So
I love
I
when I can
encourage-
follow up
Yeah,
with,
I
with an
encourage
FF.
everyone to go watch. It's called Needle in a Haystack.
Okay, I'm writing it down. Do you know what season?
I'll find it.
It's fine.
I'll find it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Michelle Herndon grew up in Live Oak, Florida, a small
Oh.
town just south of the Georgia border, the Florida-Georgia
Florida
line.
Georgia line.
It's season 14, episode 9.
Got it.
So Michelle was a beloved member of her tight-knit community. She was known for her kindness and outgoing nature. Most people who knew her would describe her as pretty idealistic. So as a teenager, she like raised and donated money to the World Wildlife Fund. And she also volunteered at a primate sanctuary. And there's a photo on the drive of her.
She's like Jane Goodall.
hanging out with the primates.
What a fucking dream internship.
What a
Oh,
little peanut.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
my tool
She's
to
feeding
intern.
them like porridge with a spoon.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
a juice reward.
It's juice reward. It's a porridge reward.
So, according to her mother, Belinda, Michelle once called her crying that she was going to get in trouble for being late to work because she'd found a squirrel with a broken leg and she needed to like reroute and drive it to a veterinary clinic before going to work.
Oh my god.
So cute.
I know.
She's dead, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what Kenyon does. She makes you fall in love.
Yeah.
And she
She's
kills them
obviously
off.
not the murderer.
Right.
No, she's not the murderer. So she was also devoutly religious. Her family belonged to Live Oak's Baptist congregation, and she dreamed of someday joining the Peace Corps and helping people in need. Like when she graduated college, she wanted to join the Peace Corps.
Good for her.
Yeah. That's the kind
Lot
of
of
religious
dreams.
thing where I will allow it. If you want to help people by joining the Peace Corps and not just being a fucking missionary,
Yeah.
great.
Just wandering around colonizing.
Yeah.
You can still do good things without putting some sort of churchy banner over it.
Right. Or like strings attached. Like just help people.
Eradicating a culture.
Yeah.
Right. So after taking a couple years off of after taking a couple years off after high school to work and save money, Michelle left Live Oaks to attend the University of Florida in Gainesville.
Oh.
She lived off campus and worked part-time as a personal trainer at a Gainesville gym. So she was just very driven and determined and like pragmatic.
Doing her thing.
She became best friends with a woman named Jessica Seipel who worked at the gym with her. And she and
He just lit his tail. He lit his tail on fire. Oh God,
Right?
it stinks. Get out of here.
Oh my
you
God.
need to get a playpen for him.
It's singed. Oh God, it stinks. There's ashes
God.
all over my desk.
Well,
I'm really sorry.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hasn't
Someday your
happened
house
in a
is gonna
while.
burn down.
Yeah.
Ray
have to-
is
I have
an
to
arsonist.
Closely monitor my
Totally.
candles. That's why I have those tacky fake candles. It's the only ones I can like leave in a room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
So she's best friends with Jessica. They are inseparable. They're BFFs. They meet at work at the gym, and they just constantly spend time with each other and hanging out at each other's houses.
Got it.
This meant that Michelle also got to know Jessica's roommate, a man named Oliver O'Quinn, who
Don't like
worked
it.
as a nurse
No.
at nearby Shands Hospital.
Never trust an Oliver.
There are pictures of this asshat on the drive.
Okay.
Ugh.
So Oliver was quiet and awkward, and it soon became clear that he had a crush on Michelle. The crush made Michelle uncomfortable, but she did her best to be kind to him because that is the type of person she was. Although she
First
was
red flag, making people uncomfortable.
she was clear with him that she had no interest in being anything more than friends. And like she wasn't even really friends with him. He was just her best friend's roommate.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just inserting himself. That's probably a terrible term to use, but like into her life.
Yeah.
And I'm
She-
sure he listened, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He left her alone.
That's what men do.
Case closed.
The end.
He respected her boundaries and moved on with his life.
Shyamalan twist. He was actually a pretty nice guy, and she went on to live her fucking life.
And they're now married.
There are no Shyamalan twists in this case.
Great. Okay.
It's just
It's exactly what you think.
there's a creeper and he won't take no for an answer, and
Great.
he has access to drugs and needles. Okay, so
Perfect.
she didn't want anything romantic to do with him just anyway because of who he was, but also she had recently become more serious with her on-again, off-again boyfriend of 4 years, Jason Deering, and Jason was planning on moving to Gainesville to be closer to her, so they were like, you know, they'd been on again, off again, but now they're getting more serious. They're
Right.
growing up more, and he's like making plans and moves to come be near her. Meanwhile, Oliver's obsession with Michelle continued to escalate.
Great.
According to her friends, quote, he would follow her around like a little puppy dog.
Oh.
He would say things to Michelle like, quote, I really don't have very many friends.
That's too bad. Bye.
Yeah. The older I get, like,
Yep.
the less fucks I give about just being like, that's too bad.
Yep.
That sounds
you
like
tried
a you
Bumble?
problem.
Bummer. Bye.
Yeah. You don't have
Hashtag no
to
new friends.
entertain these people. You don't. If they're creepy, you don't. And then he would say shit like, quote, I'm so much smarter than most people that I have a really hard time relating to them.
Okay. I'm not like other girls.
Mm-hmm. So
Not socially smarter, clearly.
Yeah, definitely. So at one backyard barbecue gathering that they both attended, Michelle joked around with her friends by demonstrating that anytime she moved chairs, Oliver would also get up and move to be closer to her.
Ugh.
Like he could not read the room that she was trying to get away from him, and he would just...
No, absolutely not.
No.
Mm-mm.
But all joking aside, Oliver's attentions were making her increasingly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In the fall of 2005, he called her 43 times in a span of 30 days.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, Jesus.
And like, they are not friends.
No. Sounds like my ex's mom.
Oh my God. So then on November 10th, 2005, Michelle's mother, Belinda, received a terrifying phone call at 3:30 in the morning.
No.
Not a good time for a phone call.
No.
It was from Michelle's boyfriend, Jason, who had driven to Gainesville after becoming increasingly worried when Michelle had not responded to his texts or phone calls for 2 full days, which was completely unlike her. He was standing outside of Michelle's house, and he could hear her beloved dog, Duke, barking and her cell phone ringing when he called it. So, like, he knew her phone was in her apartment, and the dog is obviously, like, upset. And she hasn't responded to his calls or texts for 2 days. And like that, you know, they spoke all the time.
I hate this.
So he kind of trusted his gut instinct and like got in the car and drove to her. And then as he's standing outside, he calls the mom. He didn't have a way of getting inside the house. So he called police. And when they arrived, they entered the home and found Michelle dead in her bed.
Did she live by herself?
I believe so. Yes. Yes, I think she lived by herself. So there was no sign of forced entry into her home, and there were no signs of a struggle of any kind, and like nothing was stolen. So police ruled out an intruder per se being responsible for her death. So it didn't look like anyone had like broken through a window or climbed in a door, you know, like whatever.
The forced entry.
Right. Michelle also had no history of substance abuse or depression, so a suicide or accidental overdose also seemed incredibly unlikely, and there was like no drug paraphernalia in the home. Like she's a fucking cutie little Baptist do-gooder girl.
Yeah.
So investigators' initial theory was that she had died mysteriously of natural causes. Like there was no
Like nothing.
signs
She's
of
not like choked or there's no gunshot wound. It's just like,
there's no blood.
oh my God, she just suddenly died in her bed.
She just,
Which has happened.
Yeah.
which could happen. I mean, like, you know, people can have like heart conditions that they don't know about. Like, you know, you never know. But she's like this young, healthy. I mean, she's literally a physical trainer.
Right.
She could have
And
turned
she's a
her
college
head
student.
too quickly.
Stop
God.
with that.
She could have turned into a banana and then quickly turned back.
That's rough on
cracked
your
her neck,
skeletal
turned into
system.
a banana, and then perished and turned back.
Weirder things have happened.
There was like a beer bottle, like a single beer bottle on her coffee table that had like a few sips taken out of it. But there were no other like empty bottles. They checked inside that bottle. There was nothing. There were no like medications or poisons put in that bottle. And she
Okay.
definitely was not anywhere close to drunk. She'd had like a sip or two of beer.
Okay, I was thinking poison, but you answered that question.
Yeah, nothing. They tested the bottle and there was nothing else in it.
Got it.
Besides probably crappy beer.
Right.
So,
It's Liney's berry vice, and that killed her.
oh my God.
It almost killed me at Lucy's cabin in like 2013.
Oh, God.
So they think maybe it's just like a mysterious natural cause death. However, when medical examiners performed an autopsy on Michelle's body, they found a teeny tiny unexplained needle puncture in Michelle's arm. And this is a smaller needle puncture than even like a normal needle puncture like it would, for like a blood draw or whatever. It's like a very, very, very small puncture.
Like an insulin needle. Those are just these itty bitty, like subcutaneous, they're tiny, tiny.
According to the medical examiner, quote, it appeared to be administered by someone with a level of skill. Additionally, police found a plastic Publix bag of garbage about 60 feet from Michelle's home. It had been placed by some trash bins and apparently left behind when the trash had been collected. And because there was like no more room in the bins. And like, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Because literally if that bag had just been like inside the trash bin and gone to the dump, this probably would have never been solved.
Yep. You'd never fucking find it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this trash bag contained, among other things, several empty vials as well as needles and a catheter.
Uh-oh.
The vials were determined to have contained, I don't really know how to say it, propofol.
Okay.
Propofol.
Sure.
Propofol?
Propofol.
Sure, whatever.
There's propofol.
There's I don't know. Which is an extremely fast-acting sedative. When toxicology reports came back, it was determined that Michelle had died from an extremely high dose of propofol. And like, if they hadn't found those vials, they never would have tested her for this specific drug.
Yeah, they're not going to think to randomly test for that.
Right. It's not part of the like general toxicology screen. So that it was just like an amazing thing of luck / stupidity on the killer's part to leave that bag there. Like literally if he had done almost anything else with that bag.
But he's smarter than most people.
Right. Right.
Weird.
Right.
So police began interviewing Michelle's friends, looking for someone who would have had access to such pharmaceuticals and something against Michelle, who like was a sweetheart darling and
had no enemies.
Yeah. And it didn't take long at all before they learned of Oliver O'Quinn.
Fucking creep.
Eventually, this part is great. Investigators looked for fingerprints in her home, looked for fingerprints on the Publix bag, on the needle and the vials themselves. Nothing.
Nurses wear gloves.
Yep. But one of the investigators thought, usually when I see nurses or whatever, like quickly administering something, they will open the cap or the vial with their mouths.
Oh, yeah.
So they tested the cap.
Yeah, for DNA.
Oh,
that's good. That's good. Police work right there.
Holy
That is.
Oh, that's good.
You know what?
Have transformed.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And so they found Oliver O'Quinn's DNA on the cover of a syringe in the Publix bag.
You son of a gun.
And then
You got him.
That syringe also was found to have trace amounts of Michelle's blood on it. So it was like bang, bang.
Smoking
connections
gun.
made.
Cap. That's cool. I like that.
That's cool. So investigators came to believe, based on the fact that all of these fucking things lined up and there were no signs of struggle, that
all
Oliver,
of these things lined up.
Oh, I love olives. Oh my God.
that Oliver may have told Michelle that he was going to inject her with some kind of medication to treat her recurring migraines that she did suffer from.
Oh, so she like consented but didn't know what she was fucking consenting to from this creeper.
And that's also why she would have let him in. He didn't have to break in.
She didn't have to break in. She
God.
fucking knew him. She probably had just gotten home from work or class or whatever, complained of a migraine, and he was like, "Oh, let me give you this."
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
No.
That's exactly what happened.
No.
Unfortunately, by the time they gathered enough evidence to arrest O'Quinn, he had fled town.
What a piece of shit. Of fucking course he did.
So first he went home to Tennessee, where he told his father that he was mourning the loss of his, quote, girlfriend from a drug overdose.
What a fucking asshole.
Ew. That's fucking gross.
Absolutely not.
This was before any information had been released to the public about Michelle's cause of death, so there's no way for his
they
dad.
wouldn't have seen it on the news or like, yeah. He didn't fucking know.
So his parents like couldn't have pieced it together.
No, they had no idea. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Then on November 29th, O'Quinn flew to Dublin, Ireland, telling his family that he was going on vacation.
Okay.
However, once he arrived, he applied there for a job as a nurse.
Oh, you son of a bitch. He got a taste of that sweet, sweet murder.
Great. So who's he going to kill now?
Well, police in Florida were able to keep tabs on his whereabouts because he used his own passport and he told his parents he was going to Ireland, and then he applied for jobs in Ireland.
So he basically strapped on a tracking device.
Yeah.
Went to Ireland.
He's not good at murder.
They went to Ireland and just waited to be caught.
So Irish police agreed to cooperate in surveilling him, but they were unable to arrest him because Ireland refused to extradite fugitives back to the U.S. in protest of the death penalty.
Okay. Not uncommon.
And I'm sure he knew that. I'm sure he looked
That's why
that
he
up.
picked it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also his name is O'Quinn, so he probably had some Irish ancestry.
That's like the only semi-smart thing he's done so far is going to a country like that.
And it doesn't last long.
Oh, God.
So in an effort to get O'Quinn to leave Ireland of his own free will, the lead Gainesville detective on the case focused on releasing stories about him to the Irish media, hoping that the negative press would mean that he would be unable to get a job and force him eventually to leave Ireland.
Smoke him out. Mm-hmm. Smoke him out.
Who are you?
I don't know. Character has taken
I feel
over
like
you, but
this
I like
character is like old woman at the cabin. Yeah, Tammy at the cabin after like 3 red beers.
Smoke him out.
Smoke him out. And if you're wondering what a red beer is, it's like Mick Golden with tomato juice in it.
Yep.
And if you're feeling real spicy, you can go full-blown Bloody Mary mix and get a little spicy beer, and those are fucking good.
Also, Tammy sounds like a river rat.
I love her.
Yeah, she's definitely at a cabin on a river specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Bad day to be a bush light.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
I'm about to pound it. Oh, yeah. Smoke him out.
Bad day to be a red beer.
Oh, that's bad. No.
Hey, honey, tap me off.
Tap me off.
We're at a Clamato.
Oh, God.
Are you going to swing by the store?
Gonna run into town for some Clamato.
You good to drive?
Are you going into town? Yeah.
I'm not good to drive.
Okay, we're on a Clamato and I need a pack of Luckies. All right.
Okay.
Back to this horrific
I
murder.
miss summer in Minnesota.
I know.
It's really
It made me really nostalgic.
There's something about you going into town. Yeah? Like to the neighborhood, across the dock.
Do you need my keys? You need me to move my car?
You need me to move the boat? You want to use the boat?
I'll write you a check. I'll write you a check when you get back.
Yeah. You're going into town.
If Lisa's working, she'll let you put it on my tab.
Yeah, put it on my credit. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you too, Bob. Okay, bye-bye.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't even know.
I've been in Dassel a lot this week with my sister in town. I think I'm just being overcome by a spirit.
Yeah.
Fucking Tammy.
Spirit.
Smoke them out.
Oh, you're going into town?
Okay. So the plan worked.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And
They smoked him out.
They smoked him out. But O'Quinn left Ireland and flew to Mauritania.
Where's that? I've never even heard of that. I don't even know where that is.
I knew you were going to say that. So there is
No
a map.
idea. Oh, thank God. All right, go to the drive. We got a screenshot of a map.
It's in the bump of Africa.
Oh, wow.
West
Okay.
Africa.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The bump it of Africa.
It's in the bump. The bump.
Beautiful beaches, probably.
Probably. I don't know. I have not been. where he visited the American embassy and attempted to arrange receipt of a money order. But the embassy employees saw that his passport was flagged and they tried to stall him, but they didn't have like the jurisdiction to arrest him.
At the embassy?
Like the embassy employees didn't. You know, because they're just like people pushing paper at the. I guess they could have made a citizen arrest, but
They should have some sort of officers there, right?
I
It's
guess
like American. I thought
I'm sure it's a very, very small embassy.
good point.
Okay.
You know, it's not like he was at, the embassy in Paris or something.
Okay.
You know, whatever. So they were probably waiting for somebody to arrive that could arrest him. So they were trying to stall him. But he got spooked and left, and he fled across the border into Senegal.
Okay.
So Senegalese authorities soon detained him, and they sent his ass back to the U.S.
Nice. All right.
And he was arrested for murder. This was October of 2006, almost a year after Michelle's death. So all that rigmarole, and he only bought himself about a year.
Mm-hmm.
At trial, the prosecution painted a very clear picture of O'Quinn's growing obsession with Michelle, which they claimed turned deadly after Michelle mentioned to him that she planned to marry Jason and that he was moving to Gainesville and they were going to get married and live together.
And leave her
Right.
the fuck alone.
Yeah. Right.
In addition to the DNA evidence on the syringe and a witness who had seen a man matching O'Quinn's description outside Michelle's home that day, O'Quinn's cell phone records also provided damning evidence because, again, this man is really fucking bad at murder.
Oh, yeah. He's just leaving trails all over the place.
So
They're tracking him like a moose in Canada.
Oh, man.
Golly.
Following his scat all the way
Yeah,
to
he's-
Mauritania.
That's what I'm saying. He's leaving his scat all over the trail.
Yeah. What an amateur.
Amateur. Yeah.
So he had called Michelle numerous times every single day for 9 straight days preceding her death. Like his
And then
phone calls had
suddenly stopped.
escalated.
Yeah, and then suddenly stopped.
Because he knew
And-
she wouldn't pick up.
And then the phone calls abruptly stopped
What
on
a fucking idiot.
November 8th, the day of her death, even though she wasn't reported missing and her body wasn't discovered for 2 more days.
Obviously, it's not funny, but this man is a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. I
Yep.
love how dumb this motherfucker
Mhm.
is.
Oh, she was dead for 2 full days before they
Ugh.
found her.
Poor
Yeah, and
gal.
her dog was there alone.
Oh, poor gals.
So O'Quinn's public defender did not call a single character witness to the stand.
Well, why would he? Why bother?
But
They're all gonna backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but instead attempted in his closing arguments to show the prosecution had failed to prove that O'Quinn was dangerously obsessed with Michelle. That was his only angle. He was like, yeah, he liked her, he had a crush on her, but what's dangerously obsessed of, ignoring a woman's
It's
boundaries?
subjective.
Who
Oh my
hasn't
God.
stalked a woman who
Right.
clearly is not interested in them?
A woman
Who
or two.
hasn't stalked a woman or hasn't stalked a gal? They like it.
Oh my God. It's flattering.
It's flattering. They like it.
Damn it.
So the jury was not convinced, and O'Quinn was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole. During sentencing, the judge in the case said to O'Quinn that, quote, "It is beyond my comprehension how an intelligent mind could conceive of what we've heard about this week. In this case, you
And bit his
executed...
tongue before he said, "You fucking idiot."
Yeah. In this case, you executed Michelle Herndon, and tonight after the sentencing, I know I will sleep soundly."
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Got him. They got him.
Michelle's mother also spoke at the sentencing hearing, stating, quote, "I look at you and I see a small, small man. I think about what you did to yourself and Michelle, who would have been your friend for life. She could have been your friend 10 years from now, but you took that. You chose to take that. What you took from us, you will never know. I almost let you take everything. I almost didn't survive this."
Oh, poor thing.
I know. It's just so
God.
fucking senseless.
It's so senseless.
It's just selfish
narcissistic
man.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
like I said from that horrible quote, it's almost too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have all the access.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of did maybe almost get away with it. If they hadn't checked for the saliva.
Or
I mean,
everyone
Everyone would have known that he did it, but like prosecution-wise.
He got out of the fucking country.
Yeah. There would have been a mountain of circumstantial evidence, but it's not he wouldn't have necessarily been convicted if it hadn't been for his own stupidity leaving all that shit right there 60 feet from the crime scene. And his DNA.
The phone calls.
Fucking forensic files. Oh, the phone calls are so stupid.
The abrupt halt of the phone calls. You fucking...
That is the dumbest fucking shit ever. At least, like, Pam Hupp made some fake phone calls.
Yeah.
And she's also a fucking idiot.
Forgot about Pam.
The thing about Pam.
So that is this case, this tragic death of this, like, beautiful, bright, ambitious, kind, generous woman because of some prick.
The monkey gal.
It's
She
always
just likes
some
her
asshole.
monkeys.
I hate that.
So just a reminder, you do not have to be nice to people that are creepy.
Right.
You
Fuck
don't-
politeness in that regard.
Yeah, you can be a good and kind person and still
Have boundaries.
have boundaries and not let creepos, sneak
Murder
into
you.
your life because it's just not good.
And if a creepo offers you an injection for your migraines or whatever, just politely decline.
Yeah.
Go
Migraines
talk to your
suck. I do
GP.
get it, but no.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from someone who accidentally smoked ketamine just taking pot from a stranger. So, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Nobody's perfect.
I'm not saying I'm smart. Tammy's been around the block a few times. So if someone offers you a syringe,
This
just
is
say
coming
no.
from someone who
Listen to
accidentally
my life advice.
smoked
Yeah.
ketamine.
Because I
Listen.
learned everything the hard way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned, grew
With
up
a
on
red beer in hand.
grew up on red beers at the cabin. You see some shit. Okay, are you ready for my case?
Maybe.
So, like, this nurse's motivations for killing are 100% the reason I cannot become a nurse. And, like, among a million other reasons, but mainly this, and we'll get to it.
Okay.
So, to get into this story, we need to visit our favorite boot-shaped country of Italia.
Okay.
So, the young, beautiful, and vivacious nurse, Daniela Poggiali, was working in a hospital near Ravenna in northeastern Italy in 2014.
2014.
And maybe vivacious is the wrong word because it sounds like she was just a real pain in the ass.
Okay.
She was often annoyed
She was
by...
a handful.
She was a bit much.
My epitaph.
She was a real pain in the ass. She was often annoyed by her patients or their families and allegedly played some fucked up, quote, jokes on her nursing colleagues, such as giving patients excessive amounts of laxatives during her shift so that they'll be shitting like mad during the next shift, leaving her coworkers to deal with it and humiliating her patients in the process.
Oh my
God.
Yup.
Jesus.
Yeah, she wasn't an easy one to work with. She was a handful.
Don't play pranks
No.
on your patients
No.
and nursing colleagues.
Oh my
Don't
God.
play any pranks involving laxatives.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Like,
don't do
putting
it.
someone's stapler
Never
in
good.
Jell-O is one thing.
Yeah.
And, like, her patients would suffer because of this. And
Everyone would suffer.
Everyone suffers. And they started suffering at rates that started to raise suspicion, especially when her patients started to suddenly die. So her patients were dying so frequently that an investigation was launched.
Okay.
Must have been
Oh,
a case
shit,
of
yeah.
smoking and driving. Oh, shit, yeah.
2014.
2014. This investigation uncovered, and this is translated from Italian, so bear with me. Quote, surprising results of a research on the first quarter of 2014, summarized as follows by the judge for the preliminary investigations, and the judge is Rosella Matteria. In that period, there was so in the first quarter of 2014 that they investigated, there was a significant increase in deaths in the sectors where Daniela Poggiali worked, and that is 38 out of total 83 deaths against an average of 10 per nurse, like on average in this hospital.
So almost 4 times the other nurse death average on her shifts.
26 in the sector where she regularly worked, and 12 in the adjacent sectors where, as a matter of practice, she could intervene. Mm-hmm. So basically, everywhere she floated around, people fucking died. Mm-hmm. But investigation into these deaths, including talk screens and autopsies, turned up no signs of foul play that could be directly linked to Daniela. So at this point, all they had were stats and a hunch.
Yeah, and her fucking the laxatives, man.
Oh,
that's really rude.
Really fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to how bad she was. So they started looking into her behavior and interviewing her colleagues. Quote, she wanted to do the nights that all the colleagues would say almost in chorus, but she too is cynical and vindictive. She used to overdo the laxatives to patients to put in difficulty the colleagues who succeeded her on duty, and she too overdid the sedatives at night. Again, this is translated from Italian.
Yeah.
So as not to be disturbed by the sick, which I get it. I get
she's
it.
like,
As a nurse.
Oh my God. She's like, they're being so annoying and needy. It's like
the
literally
call
your fucking job.
Like, shut up back there. I'm watching my stories.
Oh my God.
God damn.
She was the worst nurse. It's so bad. When there were the challenging ones, she said, I'll take it easy, and just sedated them. And this was almost nonsense compared to the disturbing anomalies that Sarah, a colleague who is given all the tea, remembers. Quote, non-serious patients who accused a sudden worsening of the clinical picture and then expired. So they'd come in for something, it would suddenly get really bad, and then they'd die.
Right.
How is it possible that no one has noticed, she said. Mm-hmm. But things got really bad when a new patient entered Daniela's care. The patient was an elderly man named Faustino Taglioni. And Faustino was the relative of a doctor at the hospital who also ran the nursing department. And it's alleged that Daniela did not have a good relationship with that doctor and then was caring for that doctor's relative.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Poor Faustino.
I know.
He does no idea, no.
Nope. But Sarah
it's not his Faustino.
Sarah later said in an interview, quote, there was no good blood between them. She spoke badly. So when the relative was hospitalized, I had that premonition. I felt that the man could be the chosen one for a further anomalous death.
Imagine suspecting your coworker of being a serial killer.
We've all been there.
I think she's starting to suspect something.
Oh no. We're on her radar. Give her sedatives.
Well, sure enough, her premonition was correct. Within a few days in Daniela's care, Faustino had suddenly passed away. Without a solid reason for his sudden decline, once again, Daniela was left unaccused, at least not officially. Mm-hmm. But another patient came into her care shortly thereafter, after a shift change, a 78-year-old woman named Rosa Calderoni, and there's a picture of her on the drive, and within hours, Rosa passed away. So this had now gotten too out of control to wave off as a coincidence, and an autopsy was immediately performed on Rosa.
Okay.
And thank God it was, otherwise the evidence would have once again faded away because Daniela was using injections of potassium chloride to end her patients that she found too obnoxious to deal with.
God.
Which is why I can't become a nurse. Mm-mm. Potassium chloride, even in a deceased person, will be virtually undetectable in the system within about 24 to 48 hours. They have a really small window for it to show up on a talk screen. Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. Potassium chloride is also much more lethal in victims experiencing existing health issues, which all of her patients would have been since they were admitted to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
And the symptoms of potassium chloride poisoning include muscle weakness, chest palpitations, arrhythmias, and gastrointestinal distress, all symptoms easily explained away by other issues that would have brought these patients into the hospital in the first place.
Yeah.
And all mimicking like cardiac issues. So especially with elderly patients.
Yeah, it's like, well, they just had a heart attack and died.
Right. The symptoms
Exactly.
mimic heart failure and in large enough doses cause heart failure. And this is an incredibly common cause of death among the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniela was arrested for murder in this case, but considering the quote murder weapon like disappears after a short amount of time, because she was putting it in their IV. So it's like you can't find the pokey spots.
Right.
It was either it shows up on the talk screen or it doesn't. So proving
And-
that she had killed other patients in her care was almost impossible.
Yeah, it's not like they could exhume people and test them.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
You wouldn't know. And the number that it could be is high. So prosecutors were a little concerned that they wouldn't get a win in this case. But she also like is not likable.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who already
hate her.
suspect her. Yeah.
So that didn't work out great for her. Daniela had a habit of reveling in the deaths of her patients and even coaxing her coworkers into taking gleeful photos of her posing with their corpses.
Oh my God.
Okay, I saw this picture in your file.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's so disgusting.
It's
so this is a
blurred,
dead
but
person.
both of those are two different dead people.
And that's her posing with
And that's
two
her.
thumbs up and also then mimicking the
Finger
dead
guns.
person
Yep.
with an open mouth, like pretending to be dead.
Oh my God.
my God.
Uh-huh.
She's like genuine. You can see the
It's
joy.
joy.
The glee.
Yeah.
Glee on her face. Absolutely.
Yep.
Ew.
So Sarah, the same colleague who sang like a canary about her shitty coworker, ended up being fired from the hospital in the aftermath of all of this because she confessed to being the photographer for Daniela on more than one occasion.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but
Yeah, she said,
that
quote,
kind of punishment and letting this bitch get away with this for so long.
I know, but yeah, she said, quote, Poggiali asked me to go with her to the closet where they brought the deceased patient, so like the morgue. She was particularly euphoric and wanted to take a picture next to the bodies. I didn't have the courage to say no because she is a vindictive type. I was in fear and awe of Poggiali and I didn't want any trouble. She used to give laxatives to patients just to embarrass colleagues on the next shift, so I did what she wanted. End
Yeah,
quote.
she was a fucking bully and
Yep.
scary and and a murderer. And
Yep.
and actually, it's good that this person was bullied into taking these photos because it's more evidence against
evidence,
her.
right.
But also, I can see why.
The hospital's like, okay, we got to clear out everyone
Yeah.
I can see
associated
why
with this
she was-
situation.
I can see
Oh,
why
yeah.
she was fired, but in this context, the
1000%.
way you're saying it is just like, oh, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And
that's your
Daniela-
priority.
Daniela agreed in court that this was wrong and was like, oh, I feel so bad about this, but also immediately tried to throw Sarah under the bus, saying it was actually her idea.
Whatever,
no.
bitch. You look way too fucking happy
Right?
in those photos. Like, those
Like,
photos are
looking at
damning.
the photos, she's so into it. And
Those
yes,
are
these
like
photos will be
the-
on the drive because the deceased are blurred. So
Those
it's
are
like not
the
graphic,
Army
but
Guard photos at Abu Ghraib, where
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like just
It's fucked
that
up.
level of disturbing.
yeah. So this is a quote from the Daily Mail. This is like they were there at her trial. She said, quote, "It wasn't my idea, but that of my colleague who took the photos. Also, I never could have imagined they would be circulated. It was
Well,
something
yeah.
it was something private between me and her. Anyhow, it was a mistake." That's what she said.
No fucking remorse. She's like, well, I didn't
None.
want to post them.
Right. I didn't think anyone would
Jesus.
share it. Just for my personal spank bank.
Ew, God.
Speaking through her lawyer, Stefano Diavalle, Poggiali said she was unable to explain the fact that she was present for 93 deaths in 2 years, double that of any other colleague, except that she worked a lot of shifts.
Mm-hmm.
She said, quote, "I haven't killed anyone. Rather, I always live to help others."
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the disgusting images, as we discussed, Poggiali can be seen grinning and giving thumbs up signs next to the body of an elderly woman. In another, she is leaning over a corpse with an index finger pointed like a pretend gun at her own cheek with like her mouth wide open.
It's so fucked up.
It's really fucking bad. So Daniela was convicted of the murder of 2 patients in 2014. So I believe Faustino and Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
However, this sparked the investigation of an additional 93 patients who died in her care. The trial and resulting conviction were an absolute sensation. She was getting fan mail, love letters, groupies who had been obsessed with the Amanda Knox trial,
Oh my God.
marriage proposals, and plenty of attention in jail. Like, people were sending her like roses, like dozens of roses.
You shouldn't be able to send flowers to a prison.
I know, but I don't know. I mean, it's Italy, totally different situation. I also don't know how high security she was in. Like, I don't fucking know.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
But I agree with you.
She kind of
Fuck
looks
that.
like Robin Wright Penn a little bit.
Yes, I thought
see
that
it.
too.
I see it.
Yeah.
But she didn't only get attention from fans. Her case also got the attention of a statistician.
Yeah. No, you nailed it.
Of an esthetician, Richard Gill, who firmly believed that the data in this case was biased and agreed to take up the mantle of proving it. So this is from phys.org, like physical, like physician. Gill calls the approach of his predecessors Mickey Mouse statistics.
So he wanted to defend her.
Correct.
Okay.
They analyzed the times of all shifts of all nurses and the times of admission and discharge or death of all patients in 2 years. Using very simple statistics, they compared mortality rates with and without Daniela's presence. They took into account the time of year, day, or night, but left out other things that are also very important. Daniela was a hard worker and she was often there. Many people died in the morning and fewer in the afternoon and evening and few at night. And she was like there a lot on the overnight shifts into the morning.
Okay.
There are many nurses present in the morning, fewer in the afternoon, and even fewer at night. So for every full-time nurse, there are more deaths when she is there than when she is not there. So like it's deaths on her and all these other people's
But
watch.
is that is that a national statistic? Like that is like it's more common in general for people to die in the early morning?
Yes, and that's actually
Okay.
true here in the United States as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
It's not just like at this hospital.
No. That's actually that's like a real thing.
I mean, I also
moreover-
hate the morning, so.
Well, yeah, I would die too. Moreover, Daniela was a conscientious hard worker. She started her shifts early and finished late. She always made the overlap between shifts, unlike many colleagues. So she was basically like, she's going to be around.
She's a workaholic.
Yep. So Gil and his students that like, there were stats students who helped him like crunch all this fucking data. I don't know how to talk.
Stats students.
Student
Statisticians.
Student titties.
Stats. Student ticket. 2 student titties. 2 titty tickets. I don't. That's a weird throwback. That's an old joke. I don't even remember what that was from.
You and your sister getting movie tickets. And I don't know why you guys were just fucking around. No, we were in like middle school.
The question still stands.
You just okay.
She was student titty. I think because she wasn't a student or you were someone wasn't just you guys got all nervous.
Yes, we were trying to get the college discount.
Yeah. And we were really nervous.
I was so nervous for some reason, so I asked for 2 student titties instead of two student tick. I can't. Okay. Margaritas, baby. You guys, I'm almost done. I can't. So Gil and his student titties proved the false correlation on paper. Many people died in the overlap between shifts. In reality, during those 15 minutes, the doctor comes by and officially establishes the death. Gil emphasizes that this is the time at which it was recorded, not the time of death. He and his students proved the false correlation between the presence of Poggiali and the death of patients. His Italian colleague discovered errors in the statistical analysis used by toxicology professor Tagliaro. I don't fucking know.
I don't want the twist to be that she's innocent because I don't like her and I think she did it.
Well, that's going to be how we finish this out. So based on this analysis, Poggiali was convicted of murdering 2 patients. Also because there were rumors that she had an argument with one of them or like one of the their family members. The judges concluded that she had put potassium chloride in the drip, but no account had been taken to statistical uncertainty or the advanced age of the deceased woman. Her age could also explain the high level of potassium chloride. So it could have been naturally occurring.
Oh, okay.
The persistent lawyer and statisticians were finally able to secure an acquittal after the nurse had spent 7 years in prison.
Oh my God.
So she's been acquitted and released as of early this year. But I'm curious what you think, innocent or guilty and lucky.
She's guilty as fuck.
I think she's fucking guilty. I think she killed people.
A bitch. She shouldn't be a nurse.
Yeah, is she a nurse? Where is she now?
No, I don't think she's allowed to be a nurse. I don't know. She
should be
just got acquitted 8 months ago.
De-nursed.
She's
I
probably been deloused and de-nursed.
I need an update. Oh my God. Did she accept any of the marriage proposals?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh my God. Fucking Italy and their courts, man.
Their courts are so...
I know.
I may never go to Italy again because it's
just don't get arrested there.
risky.
Just don't get arrested there.
Well, yeah.
You can't...
It's that easy.
You can't just set out to not get arrested.
I set out most days to not get arrested and I'm
You don't know.
successful.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
You don't know.
if Amanda Knox was innocent,
Yeah.
she didn't do shit. She
Right.
didn't do anything.
Maybe Amanda and Daniela are in some sort of support group with each other.
Oh my God. Did you see Amanda Knox recently tweeted something about do I need to go back to Italy? Because
No.
so much shit is fucked up in America.
You know it's bad.
Amanda, you have other options. It's not just these two places.
You know it's bad when
Yeah.
Amanda Knox is making LOL I murdered and got away with it jokes about Italy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Why? We're in the worst timeline.
We really are. It's just
bad.
getting worse.
It's bad.
I hate it. Anyway, that's my case.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you to our fan picker, Martin Liu, and all of the
Glad you're not a
Thank you to all the student titties and
totally forgotten about that.
oh my
It's a good
God.
throwback.
2 student titties. 2 student tickets.
Oh, it literally hurts
Two
to
supple
laugh that
titties.
hard. Okay.
Just 2 supple titties, 2 student tickets, 2 supple students.
I can't. Okay. Thank you. Don't kill your patients. We love you. We'll talk to you next. See you later. Bye.